All right. All right, guys. So welcome to this ADOS formula streak training that's about to go down. I am so excited to be sharing this stuff with you. And thank you guys so much for getting on live. I know it's Tuesday at 11 a.m., maybe a little bit earlier for a lot of you guys, but it's 11 a.m. on the East Coast. So I really appreciate you guys hopping on. I said in the beginning, if you don't have a notebook, please grab one. If you make sure you have, a pen that works, all that stuff, so you can write everything down. I'm going to be going over, what Josh wants me to go over is kind of this whole how to build your contact list, how to contact people. And then I'm going to go through how to use Google Streak. Some of you are like, I don't know how to use Google Streak. I'm not going to go so in depth about it because I do actually have, because I asked Josh, I was like, do you want me to share that I have this 2-hour webinar I did over the weekend a few months back for my team that literally goes step by step, how to set it up, how to do everything. And you do it on the call. So when you are done with or when you're done with the webinar, you already have Google Streak set up, which is pretty awesome. So I will share that with him, and he's going to share that in the page. So don't worry as I'm going through it if it's either confusing or you're like, I have no idea what's going on. Don't worry, we're going to go through all of that stuff. But it would take way too long for me to go through all of that anyway. But for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Alexis Doss. I have been a Beachbody coach for a little over 4 years, and all the stuff I'm going to teach you, I was not doing in the beginning of my business. So whether you're a new coach or you've been a coach for a few years, wherever you are in your business, don't feel like, you beat yourself up for not doing this stuff. I literally was like a pen and paper, just figuring it all out, doing random things each day for like the first year and a half of my business. So what I'm going to teach you, and I'm going to keep looking at my phone. I'm not like texting. I just have notes in here because I am super scattered brain. So if I don't have something, I'll be all over the place. But I really want to make it clear to you guys that this is not the end all be all of what you should be doing. This is, for me, it's like my main thing. And for some of you guys, you might like it and be like, oh my gosh, this is my jam. I want to do this all the time. Other of you might be like, I like it, but I don't think it's like exactly what I want to do. My biggest tip is that you don't just do this and throw everything out the window. You should be doing, your cold invites, your invites every day, like all your other things. This is just something, at least for me, it's solidified. It's something I can really kind of control, how many people I'm talking to and all of that stuff. So I just want to make sure you guys know, and Josh wanted me to make sure I point out that this is not just something you learn and then throw everything else out the window. You know what I mean? So, but with this, I tell my team that, because what I'm first going to do is talk to you guys about how I build my contact list, because in order to do this process, you have to have some kind of contact list. I build my contact list every week, and I teach my team to do the same. We call it our 5th vital behavior. You guys know about the first 3 vital behaviors and the new 4th one, which is recognition. This 5th one, I call building a contact list, because so many new coaches, especially coaches that are working another full-time job, they sit down at their desk when they do have time, and then they're like, okay, who in the world am I going to message? And they just have no idea, and they're just like randomly picking like these 3 people that liked their post yesterday, and then just going through their friends list and just like being like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I pick you. Which is still good when you're doing cold invites. Like I always cold invite to people who like my posts on Facebook. That's still important. But with this list, I, teach my team to build, in theory, I say minimum, you should add, I say 20, but minimum 10, because if you want to hit Success Club, in theory, if you've read the book Go for No, for every 10 people you talk to, you're going to hear 9 no's, you're going to get 1 yes. So if you want to help 3 people to hit Success Club every month, minimum 10 people each week will give you 40 people each, or for the full month, which should pretty much cover you. So I have some slides I'm going to share with you. Like I said, first we're going to talk about the contact list. Then I'm going to go over the actual ADOS formula. And then I'm going to go into, because I'm going to talk while I'm teaching the formula about how to track it or how I track it. But I'm not going to go into the actual how-to of it until we go into the Google Streak part. And if you guys have any questions, there will be a Q&A at the end. I am really like squirrel, so I'm going to try not to answer. I probably will because I can't help it, but I'll try not to answer. You can still ask questions. Don't feel like you can't ask questions because I'm the kind of person that will forget. So totally type in the chat box if you forget, or if you are the kind of person that's going to forget. I'll totally scroll through at the end and answer everyone's questions. But I like questions. Don't be afraid to ask them. Okay. All right. So sometimes my computer does not like to listen to me. All right. Hopefully everybody can see that. If not, then we'll have a problem. Okay. So, getting into first about how to build a contact list weekly. So I'm going to first go into the obvious hashtags. That's really how I first started finding people. And then the second part is a little bit more, not intricate, but it's kind of my weird, strange way of finding people. And I like teaching other people how to do it. My team likes it, so I like to teach you guys. And what I'm actually going to do is share my phone screen with you before we move on. But first, obviously, finding people through hashtags is a great way to build your contact list. And like I said, you want to build this list. I sit down every Sunday before the week starts. I tell my team to do the same. Sit down for 30, even if you don't work on Sundays, sit down for 30 minutes to an hour and just, tell your family, I'm going to do this little 30 minutes to an hour just so I have my contact list for the week, and make your list of 10. Some of my coaches are doing 60 people a week. It depends on what your goals are. If you're like, I want to go hard, I want to, do a bunch, then do that. But minimum 10, I suggest the average be like 20 to 30. But if you want to, I wouldn't suggest any more than like 60. That's going to be a lot, because you're also, again, going to be doing other things like Facebook groups and all of that stuff. This is strictly just Instagram. So with hashtags, everybody always asks, what hashtags do I go through? I highly recommend that you do not use fitness, clean eating, all that super basic stuff. You want to get really specific to what is your niche market, what is your target market. And I personally find it's really strange that going through like food products or like specific brands that I like are really, really helpful. So instead of just doing like protein bar, I love RX bars, Lara bars. If you like Quest bars, like going through those, I find that the people that use those hashtags and share those pictures, especially if you like those things, I feel like it's always just easier for me to find people. I don't know. That's just the way it is. If you're a yoga mom, if you're a cat mom, if you're a mom of twins, if you just turned 30, you can do, 30 is the new 20, whatever it is. I do suggest trying to pick hashtags that are still somewhat related to health and fitness, like, because you can still do this process of just meeting people, but it's a little bit easier if you kind of find people that are already slightly posting about health and fitness anyway. Another little sneaky thing that I do is using hashtags that represent a product or a thing that costs a little bit of extra money in terms of health and fitness. Because if somebody, like for example, Vitamix, Lululemon, a $400 blender and a $100 pair of yoga pants, people who are buying those things are willing to invest that much money into a health and fitness product. So they're probably going to be more likely to invest in a $160 challenge pack. It's not like I'm using them for their money. I'm just like, these people rock. They understand that, if you want a good quality product, you're going to invest a little bit more money in it. They're going to understand that Shakeology is worth that $130 price. So that's just kind of like a side thing. So I really quickly want to share with you my screen. Hopefully this works. Sometimes it wants to work, sometimes it doesn't, but okay. Let's try this. Oh, I thought I already had it up. All right, bear with me for a second. Usually Zoom likes to run slow. Here it goes. All right, if anybody wants to know what this is, in case they want to use it for like team calls and stuff, it's called Nearing 360. I think it's like $14 for like the year, and you literally can show your phone screen, which is pretty cool. Okay. All right, so this is another way I find people. It's really strange, so bear with me. I have another video I can share with Josh that kind of explains it a little bit more. But anyway, here we go. So the way I build my contact list, and this is really the main way I do it. I don't really do hashtags anymore. Occasionally I do, but so when you go to Instagram and you go to the search part, this part right here, and you search, it's the main page. It's videos you may like. So Instagram is showing you things that you may like. So what I do is I look for a picture that looks like it's like one of those really fancy Instagrams that just has like 15,000 likes on the picture. And I'm going to explain why. So let's find something. So let's see how many likes. Okay, this is perfect. This girl has 6,644 likes on her picture. So you can see that. So what you can do is you can actually click on the likes. And for some reason, I don't know why, I think it's because it's showing you pictures that you may like. What it also does on Instagram is the first like 15 to 30 people on the likes of that picture, because your profile is health and fitness, all the first 15 to 30 people are all health and fitness people. So you can tell, like My Fit Journey, like all these people you can totally tell are health and fitness people. So what I do is I literally follow like the first 15 to 30 people. I just follow everybody, and just bear with me. I'm going to explain why. So I just follow, follow, follow. Okay. So then I do that like once a week. I really only follow like 30 to 40 new people. I don't follow a ton, because then what I do is I go, I keep clicking on my screen, like I can click there. So then what I do on Sunday, when I go to build my contact list, I go to my page. Then what I do is I click on following. So not the people that followed me back. I'm not worried about that. I click on following. So just the people that I followed. I click on that, and then I scroll down, and because I'm only following like 30 new people a week, all those people are going to be there. Now I may have followed a few people throughout the week new, but I scroll back, and I usually honestly find the person that I left off on. So I have like a marker. You can do it in your notebook or wherever you track stuff. And I'll write, like, let's say I left off at this girl. I'll write her name down, so I know I can just kind of scroll a little bit and find her name and be like, okay, that's the last person I left off. So everybody underneath there, I've already covered. So then what I do is I go through each person, click on each person. I quickly look at their page. This girl's absolutely perfect. I look, I see, 1, she's not a Beachbody coach. 2, is she in a different country? You know, obviously this girl's not. She's 21. She's from Connecticut. She already does BBG. Now, a lot of people always ask, do you pick people who are already doing something else? It depends. I do not go after people that are doing It Works, Thrive, all that stuff, because you have to remember they are lifers of that specific thing. Now, BBG, sometimes I've gotten people to switch over, but like if It Works, nobody's going to come to you as a Beachbody coach and get you to switch over to It Works. They just won't. So you have to remember other people are going to be that same way. But with BBG, it's a little bit different. So this girl's absolutely perfect. So then what I do, if I find somebody that's perfect, and I scroll a little bit, you know, make sure she's not posting about Shakeology, like she's already a coach, then I write down her Instagram handle. And I do that with each person until I have my 20 to 30, 40 names. And then if I ever find somebody that, like this girl, she's from Thailand, not going to pick her. So I unfollow, and this helps because I'm going to be following, sorry, that's my friend. Because I'm going to be following 30, 40 new people each week. I don't want my following, and sometimes I follow like 100 new people a week. It depends on how much you want to do. But I don't want my following number to be like 10,000 by like the end of the year. You know what I mean? So that's my way of weeding people out. So I do that, and I go boom, 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 boom. And it's literally so easy to find people because I'm just following a bunch of people at some time in the week. And then on Sunday when I build my contact list, I just go click, unfollow, click, follow, or keep following. And I stay following of the people that I keep, and I unfollow the people that I'm not interested in. And if I ever find somebody who's like a personal page and they're not posting health and fitness, I also unfollow them. And it totally depends, whatever is your target market, blah, blah, blah. I hope that makes sense. My team loves it. I feel like it's so easy to find people, and it's literally how I build my contact list. I find a lot of coaches that way too. But when you're building this list, another thing I do really quick is that when I'm building the list, if I ever find somebody that, when you build your contact list, you should have like 80% of those people be just challengers, people who you're going to just invite to what I do is I invite to a clean eating group first and then invite to a challenge group. But there should also be people, like 20% of that list should be coach people who, you know, like there shouldn't always only be people you're inviting to challenge groups. There should be people that you're going to invite to coaching. So I put a C next to their name. So when I put them in Google Streak, and it's what I'm going to explain later, I know that within like just like 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to just straight up invite them to coaching. I'm not going to bother inviting them to anything else, because you can tell when someone's page is just like killing it. They already have like a decent amount of followers. They look like they really know what they're doing. They probably don't even need a challenge group, and maybe they do, you never know. But I know I'm going to put a C next to their name because they're going to get a coach invite from me before they get anything else. Okay. So that's really how I build my contact list on Instagram. There's tons of ways you can do it, but those are kind of just my really quick ways of doing it. Okay. All right, this is just, I've done this presentation before, and we're going to talk about this, but before moving on with teaching you guys this ADOS formula, you have to be tracking, or this isn't going to work. You cannot do this with pen and paper. I mean, I'm sure you could probably figure it out, but you have to be using some kind of tracking system. Before I started using Google Streak, I struggled to hit Success Club 5. I hit Success Club minimum 20 every single month because I'm doing this, and I feel like I'm so less stressed. I'm less frustrated. And because you do this and you track things and you know what's going on, you become less frustrated with your business, which makes it easier to work your business, which makes you not burn out as quickly. Okay. So once you have your list, let's say you have your list of your 30 people, the next thing you're going to do is start the conversation. And what I do with that is send an initial message. For those of you who don't know how to direct message, I know a lot of you do, but if you don't, you go to the main page, there's this little like box thingy. It's how you send a message. You hit plus, you put the person's Instagram handle, you type their, or you click send message, put their Instagram handle, and then send a message. I've changed this message a bunch of times. I know you guys can probably see my message. Please do not use my same message, because I've gotten messages from people when I've sent my message saying, I just got the same message from somebody else. They've screenshot it, sent it to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know that person. And it's not like I'm gonna chase you down and beat you up, but the way I speak, I say the word dope and stuff like that. I know a lot of you guys don't say that. So find the same way to say this message, and I'm gonna kind of give you an idea of it, but in your own words. So basically what the message is just saying, oh my gosh, your page is so awesome. So you can say, my message is usually like, can I say how much I love your page? Like when I first started my Instagram, I love just looking through hashtags to find people who are inspirational, and I just came across yours, or your name just popped up in my newsfeed, and I just absolutely love your page. Like, keep killing it, or keep doing an awesome job. I'm just and I'm sending the same message to each person. It's not that I'm being fake. It's not that I'm, just trying to get the message out to a bunch of people. I'm going to continue the conversation individually with each person, but it's easiest to just send this message because I pick these people for a reason. You wrote down their Instagram name because you like their page. So that's what I do. So then I send that message to each person. Now, little side note, with the way Instagram works, you can only send a certain amount of messages to each person at a time. So usually once I build my contact list and then I copy and paste each message to each person, sometimes it lets me send 12 at a time. Sometimes it lets me send 30. So it kind of all depends. So what I do is I send and you'll know when you can't send anymore, when you send a message and next to this little message right here, it has like a red exclamation point. Then you know Instagram's kind of like, it doesn't like shut down your account. It just kind of stops you for a little bit. What I do is if I send as many as I can, and then I go back like an hour later, or like, I try to send them all before the week starts, and then just send them all till I'm done. That's why you don't really need to be doing 60, because it might take you a little bit. I send them all in one day. If you want, you can send 10 a day to just start the conversation. But I like to just send them all, so then I'm done. I don't have to worry about building a contact list throughout the week. I don't have to worry about messaging anybody, like new people throughout the week. All I'm doing throughout the week is just starting to build relationships. That's all I do. So that's kind of how that goes. Okay, so step 2 is forming. This is where you just be real and get to know them. So once they respond, which is usually something like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're so awesome. Then I will be like, of course, I love spreading positivity, blah, blah, blah. So then from there, I just ask them a question based off something on their page. So then I go back to their page really quick and I look to see something they recently posted. So it's usually something like, oh, of course, I love spreading positivity. By the way, where did you get those leggings? They are so cute. Or I've been wanting to try out that cold brew. How is it? Or, oh my gosh, you're from Boston. I heard it's so pretty there. Have you always lived there? Always finish with a question so they can answer it with a response. So it's just from there, I'm literally just trying to get to know them. People love talking about themselves, and we're both health and fitness Instagrams. You don't have to necessarily specifically talk about health and fitness. I'm just trying to get to know them, especially girls. Most of the time, especially if they're nice, like girls are totally, especially on Instagram, like Facebook might be a little bit different, but Instagram, especially the fitness and health Instagrams, I find that everybody usually responds really, really well to that stuff. Sometimes you might just get like a heart or like a thumbs up. And sometimes you have to use your intuition to figure out, do I really want to carry this conversation, or do I just want to stop carrying the conversation? Everybody also always asks, what do I do if they didn't respond? All I do is I comment on their picture. So like 2 days later, and this is what we're going to talk about in Streak in terms of reminding yourself. So when I check back 2 days later to see if they respond, if they didn't respond to my message, I go to a picture on their page and comment and say, hey there, just sent you a direct message on here. Not sure if you saw it. Either way, your page is awesome. And I just comment on a picture. And then I add it to Streak and blah, 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 do all that stuff. But I'm going to talk about that, so don't worry. But don't think if someone ignores your first message that they are just ignoring you in general. A lot of times, almost all the time, if you send 30 messages, probably only 8 people are going to respond. And it's because 1, a lot of people don't realize there's direct messaging in Instagram. 2, some people, I don't know, you could be a mom and you message another mom and their baby just puked on the dog and they opened your message and then ran to go fix whatever the problem was, and they totally just forgot to respond to your message. So please do not take it personally if somebody doesn't respond, because it's just going to drive you insane. Okay. So step 3 is once you've talked to them back and forth, and this is why I love Instagram stories, is because each 2 to 3 days when I go to check back in with the conversation with the person, it's so instead of just commenting on somebody's stuff, which you totally can do, I like to respond to their Instagram stories because it sends it as a message and it feels a bit more personable than just somebody, because there's 10 people commenting on people's pictures. I want to be that someone that actually just comments on their Instagram stories so they get a little message instead of just a comment. So then after I've done that for about a week, I send them a message that says, oh, by the way, do you have a Facebook or a Snapchat? I would love, to stay connected with somebody like you. I love to surround myself with positive people. I believe, what you put out is what you get back. And so many people are usually like, oh my God, yes, I feel the same way, blah, blah, blah. And then now I usually ask for Snapchat, but I don't use Snapchat as much as I used to, but I still ask for it anyway, because some people have a Snapchat but not Facebook, and I just feel like being able to Snapchat someone is a little bit more personable than just commenting on their Instagram stuff. So, and then some people don't have a Facebook. Everybody always asks that. What do I do if they don't have a Facebook? Then just continue to build a relationship on Instagram. Do the same thing that you would do on Facebook. Just keep conversating with them on Instagram. So then I move them over to there. And then step 4 is, once you have them over to Facebook, is to just get to know them more and get over the fear and invite. I usually send an invite within 2 to 3 weeks of moving them over to Facebook. Well, 2 to 3 weeks total of knowing them. So a week of messaging them and commenting on their stuff on Instagram. And then once they're on Facebook, wait another 2 to 3 weeks, just another week or 2. So full 3 weeks before I invite them. And a few things before I go into the next part. One, everybody always asks, well, how do I get the conversation to move over to health and fitness so then I can invite them to something? I have never, in the 4 years I've worked in Beachbody, ever waited for someone to bring up the fact that they needed health and fitness for me to invite them to anything. I just don't. And it's because I invite to a clean eating group first, or a free group, whatever kind of free group we have going on, before I ever invite them to a challenge group. Now, that's separate from my cold invites. So if somebody likes my post on Facebook, sometimes I'll send somebody a cold invite and says, hey, I know this might be random, but I would like to know if you'd be interested in joining my accountability group, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of this process, I always invite to a clean eating group first. And the reason I do that is because, one, especially for new coaches, it's super easy to invite to something that is free. So if you have a fear of inviting someone to buy a $160 challenge pack, just invite them to a clean eating group. And if you're not running a clean eating group, start running either a free clean eating group or a free other kind of group. Don't feel like you have to do it on your own. Pair up with other coaches and make it happen, because it's just going to help the process. So what I do is I invite them to a clean eating group. And I don't wait for the conversation to move to health and fitness, because what I've done is I've met them on Instagram. I've gotten to know them on Facebook. I commented on their Facebook stuff. I sent them a message about stuff on Facebook, just asking them questions, building a relationship. And when I invite to a clean eating group, I send everyone the same kind of message, which looks something like this. Hey, I don't know if you'd be interested in this kind of thing. Or you can even be like, oh, by the way, girl, I meant to message you. I know we were just talking the other day, but I meant to ask if you'd be interested in I have a 5-day free clean eating group. It starts on Monday. Whatever you have going on, I change this part usually. Like, I have vacation coming up. Like, me personally, I'm going to a music festival in a month. So I've been adding that to my thing. I'm going to a music festival, and I know I want to feel good. I don't want to, be bloated, blah, blah, blah. You get a free grocery list, a free meal plan, all that stuff. I'm adding everybody on Friday. Let me know if you'd be interested. If not, no worries. And then, because you're just starting it like, oh, by the way, I meant to mention, because everybody wants health and fitness. You don't have to wait to move the conversation over to health and fitness for you to invite. Because if you do, you're just going to stress out, whatever. I literally take this invite and copy and paste it and send it to everybody that I did this initial ADOS formula with last month. So just this past Wednesday, because my clean eating group just started this Monday, because I do the same process same calendar every month. First week is nothing. Second week is my clean eating group. Third week on the Thursday is my coach sneak peek. And then the last week of the month is my challenge group. So because I follow that same process, it makes it super easy. And I don't invite every day with this process. I do cold invites, but with this process, I only invite usually 1 to 2 times a month, because on Wednesday, because I add everybody on Friday, on Wednesday, I invite everyone to my clean eating group that's going to be on Monday. And I send this invite to everybody that I did this process with the month before, because I built relationships with all these people. And I don't look for the conversations that like did well or whatever. I just send the invite and say, hey, by the way, I know we were just talking recently, blah, blah, blah. And almost everybody wants more information. So once I invite everybody to a clean eating group, they go through the group. And on Saturday, I do check in with them obviously throughout the week, but then on Saturday, once the 5-day free clean eating group is over, I send everyone a voice message. And I highly suggest you send everyone a voice message because it's more personable. They can hear the inflection in your voice. If you're scared of it, just do it and get over the fear. Because the cool thing about doing it is once you record one good message, there's a button in Facebook Messenger that like next to the mess, or now it's updated. So if you hold it, it'll give you the option at the bottom that says share, and you literally can share your voice message with the 40 people that were in your clean eating group. And I go share, type each person's name, boom, 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 takes me maybe 5 minutes, and I've already invited 40 people to my challenge group, just like that. And it's basically something that says like, hey girl, thank you so much for being a part of my clean eating group. I hope that you found it helpful. I love running these every month. I wanted to let you know though, because I always let my clean eating challengers know first, me and my team are going to be running this a little bit more involved challenge or accountability group at the end of the month. We work on health, we work on fitness, and we work on personal development because I think that's so important to really work on your mindset. It's a little bit more involved. It's actually not on Facebook. It's through this really cool app. I can give you more information if you'd like. No worries if not, blah, 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 blah. Let me know. And then most people at least want more information. And then to be honest, a lot of people do not say yes right away, which most of the time happens, but they are always my yeses in month 2 and month 3 and month 4 after I've done this process. So that's what I do. So that's basically my process. That is the same process I follow with every single person all the time, besides my cold invites and besides my other stuff. Literally the process I follow with everybody. It makes it so easy. I don't stress about who to invite, and where to move the conversation. I just do it. And then also with the people that you put on your list that you put a C next to, within the 2 to 3 weeks of you getting to know them, following their page, liking their stuff, talking to them on Facebook, talking to them on Instagram, messaging, Snapchatting, whatever you do, then I send, because I always because if you're wanting to build your team and you're not sending coach invites, I'm sorry, you will not build your business. You just won't. You can do challenger to coach. That's very important, and that should be the majority of your stuff, but you have to be sending some coach invites throughout the month. So my coach invite looks like this. And again, please do not steal my exact wording. So my thing just says, and again, I do not wait for the right time to send this message. I just send it randomly. So I say, hey, can I ask you a question? I'm sure you've been asked this before, but I just feel this vibe from you. I've been following your story for a while, which is dope. I seriously think you would make such an amazing coach inspiring others. I'd love to have you a part of my tribe. I've been building this Good Vibe tribe for 4 years. I feel like you'd fit right in. I know you're probably like, what in the world are you talking about? But seriously, I'd love to talk to you about it. If not, no problem. Just wanted to reach out to you. So many people are at least like, oh my God, thank you so much. That means so much. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'd love to know more information. So those are kind of how I kind of do that process with everything. I don't know why that just did that. Okay. So that's really my process. That's how I do everything. I hope that made sense. And you can really kind of word everything however you want, do all, your own stuff. I did that. He told me to do that in 30 minutes. That was good. So that's really my whole ADOS process. So what I'm going to teach you guys next is how to kind of do all of this within Streak. Because if you need to remember to check in with this person and invite this person, how in the world are you going to do it if you are doing it through pen and paper? And I'm not making fun of anybody because, again, guys, remember, I was doing this for 1.5 years of my business, just pen and paper, like sheets of so many things, losing stuff, losing track of people. I would check my messages and there would be somebody that said like yes to joining a challenge group and I forgot to get back to them, Yeah, so it's just, oh gosh, it's so important. So, okay.